lust of eyes, lust of flesh, and pride of life. How to overcome all these every day in our walk with Christ? He wants a practical application answer.
Right. I think last night my wife and I were discussing this, or maybe 2 days back while I was preparing, while I came to this. I think Paul is very helpful here, Danny, and I don't know how easy it is, how practical it is, but Paul seems to have got the crux of how to overcome all of this. Because Paul says, to me, everything is dung. Okay, to me, everything is dung. He says, everything is rubbish and everything is rotten and everything is useless to me in front of Christ. Okay. The lineage from which I came, the tribe of Benjamin from which I came, the learning that I had from Gamaliel, the zeal that I had persecuting the fledgling church, the Pharisee of Pharisee that I was, strutting with pride and self-righteousness of having, been keeping all of the law and commandments, all of that, he says, and much more. He says, I'm dead to Christ. Now, if you're dead, okay, if you're literally dead, a corpse doesn't feel pain, does it? Okay, so the question of the lust of the flesh or the lust of eyes or the pride of life cannot enter a corpse, a dead body. So Paul is saying that we should be dead to ourselves and we should be alive in Christ. Of course, these again can be looked at as platitudes, okay, as ideas which are very lofty, but how do we practically work that out in each of our lives is a question that we have to ask ourselves. We have to first take sin very seriously. When will we take sin very seriously? When we understand the beauty and the loftiness of God's holiness. Then we will understand the depth of our shallowness and our depravity. So when we understand the true holiness of God, like R.C. Sproul will say, the holiness of God has to traumatize us. Okay, there is a beautiful sermon that R.C. Sproul gives. It's on YouTube. You can go check it out. It's called as a trauma of holiness. I keep listening to it, every now and then. And R.C. Sproul, though I don't agree with his theology on a Calvinistic theology, but I'm totally an admirer of the man himself, and he speaks about how traumatizing the holiness of God can be when we get a good glimpse of it. He says God is not just holy, he says God is holy, 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 thrice holy, utterly holy. So much so that the seraphim, in Isaiah 6 have to close their eyes. They were designed with, wings that will permanently close their eyes and close their feet. 3 pairs of wings and 2 with which they keep themselves afloat. Singing holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. And so when we meditate on the holiness of God, and when we meditate on the trauma of God's holiness, which is Jesus hanging half naked on the cross of Calvary, and these images are very vivid in our eyes, in front of us all the time, okay, and we will then take sin very seriously, and we will not be petting it like our pet dogs, but we will be kicking it like, a mad dog that is coming to bite us. Oftentimes now all of us, take a very, a very numb take to sin. We are so exposed to sin there on the media, sin there, this, image that is suggestive, this dialogue, this whatever, and all of that. So our sensitivity to sin, actually becomes, goes down. And we become leprous. And when we become leprous, hearts are calloused, then we will not be dead. We will not be traumatized by the holiness of God. We will not be weeping at, the atonement of Jesus, and we will not be afraid of continuing to walk in sin. And therefore, I think we have to encourage each other. We have to talk about these things. We have to hear more sermons. If our churches are not preaching, we have to look at more YouTube videos that preach about this, preachers that speak about this, things that are hard, and wake us up and shake us up. And then I think all of these infernal trinity, as it is called, will begin to slowly fade away as the newness of Christ comes in us. That's all I can think.
Thank you.